Okay, this is the third video, and I think we're going to come back to Cube now and try to build a scenario to run. I guess I'm going to first show you. This was the Voyager window that we launched, and it says that my 2010 run is complete, so I'm going to say OK to that. And since it is complete, maybe I can show you that one. We've got these windows right here. And if I go back to this one, which you can also get to by just double clicking on the app down here, then we'll go to the trip assignment. So you go here to highway assignment, probably highway summary. Let's go there and see what it's got in it. There's a thing over here labeled final network, base 2010 final. That's pretty good, so let's open that up. And alright, so they will zoom in on that space and the coloring. So let's look at the colors and see what's selected. PM1 VC, that means PM 1 hour volume to capacity ratio. So if I, the color window didn't come up. Let me figure. Okay, well, I had to kill Cube in order to get it because I think this color box ended up behind the window and I couldn't figure out how to get it back to the front. But now it's back. So here's what we're looking at. So green means that the VC ratio is greater than 0. Then it turns orange when it goes to above 0.8, red above 0.9, that above point darker, and then anything that's above 1 is kind of a purple color, and then the sizes of those things are right here. So close. Alright, so now we go in here, take a look, and so it says this chunk of Main Street is pretty busy. So let's see if we can figure out how to post values. So under here, under post all, there's a pull down window. Some things that are predefined, they may or may not work, but we'll try it. PM vol daily model versus observed, that's a pretty good one, so let's try that. And it also says it doesn't work, but we can probably fix it, so I selected it. Now I do post all. Okay, there's nothing on it, so we'll just build it. So you go down here and you find, you're looking for dy vol, and it should be way down at the bottom. dy2 vol, dy2 vol two-way. I'm trying to think of what that means. I think that's the right one. This AWDT field isn't there, so we're going to have to delete that for a minute. So delete that part. Then we're going to go to one of our count fields, which should be in there. Oh, maybe it's not in there. Oh darn. Looks like I'll have to fix the code and run it again so that the count field shows up in there. But hopefully by the time I do this, yours will have it. It'll be called C2010, I think. So we're going to post that. And so this shows how many cars the model thinks are there. And then we need to post C2010. I'm going to go change that for... Okay, well, I am running 2010 in the background now because I fixed it so that the count data would come over into the final network, because it's stored on the master network, and I had to tell it to move that data from the master network to the scenario network so it would show up in the end. So we'll see that in a minute. But I want to also show you how to create a new scenario over here. So let's go over here and go ahead and make a new scenario. Under these couplets 2040, let's make a new scenario, I think. So right click and do add child. So that creates a new scenario. And why don't we call this road diet? Whoops. I think it flashed and wouldn't let me make mine into road diet, but mine's road D, yours can be road diet. So now there's a scenario here called road diet, and what we do to set it up is double click on it, pulls up this window. Pretty much everything on this first page can stay the way it is. Then you come over here, and we want to try and make this a 2040. No, maybe we could make this 2010. What would be best to try? I think 2010 would be an interesting one because road diet is kind of right now. So let's make road diet over here under the 2010. So if we go to 2010, right click under this and do add child while 2010 is selected, then it will put a new one under 2010. Diet 10 is what I'm going to call that, and say OK. And now because it's a child of this one, it means it inherits all of the traits of the parent. So right now it's an identical copy of 2010, which is nice because then we don't have so many parameters to change. So these all say 10 now. So we're going to run it with the 2010 population, network base. We're going to run it with, we're probably not going to run it with lanes 10, but we will run it with functional type 10. And I think pretty much like that. So the transit directory is 2040, but we're going to keep it like that for now. And hit save and close. And now let's go set up a 2010 road diet. So we want to open the master network. So we're here in this scenario network place, which you get to by, well, you can go to parent. That takes you back up to the top of where we were. Keep going. Alright, so here we are at the beginning again. Go to input processing, network processing, network processor, and back to master network. Okay, so we're going to open that up. It always does that. Very annoying, but okay. So road diet. Lots of people get excited, lots of planners get excited about road diets. What that means sometimes is taking a road that's got 2 lanes in each direction and turning it instead to 1 lane each direction. That would be nice because then you got lots of extra room to play with for bikes and pedestrian and whatnot. But in this case, it'll be a curious result. So what we need to do is click on one of the links that we think should be included in our road diet. Maybe not here. This would be pretty tough. Maybe they just want to do it in the key part of downtown. So we'll start right here because we've got cross streets east and west that traffic could divert to get to the rest of the grid if it needs to. So we'll just start right here. And under one of these lane spare, let's use that one. So we're going to change the name of lane spare. So you go to link and rename under link attribute, and this thing will pop up. We go to lane spare 1, say OK, and call it ln underscore diet. So that'll be a good name. And hit cancel. We don't want to rename another one. Now we need that to inherit the attributes of 2010 first. So we're going to go to compute. This thing pops up, and here we can do right click and edit, and that allows us to edit the existing one. So we're going to say, so you can right click again. It has lots of things. Usually okay, so lane diet is right here on this list, so we should say that lane diet equals, right click, lane 2010. So the first thing we want to do in setting up a scenario is make it identical to a previous scenario. So all items now and no conditions, so just nothing. So this means we're going to apply to everything. So 3,703 links updated, that's how many links are in the whole network, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to update everything. Okay, the next thing we need to do is go back to home, and we're going to change the color, or we're going to change the lane, not to lane 2010 anymore, but to lane diet, like that. Now I'm going to copy, Control C, Control V all the way down, and we will see if it's okay. So the colors turned out the same, which means I successfully copied lanes 2010 into lanes road diet. Now we're going to just set up our road diet here. So lane diet has 2, and I'm just going to now type in 1. 1, 1, click, and you can see that it changed. I'm going to also do an offset 2 so that you can see what happens there. Now if I want one side of the road to be different than the other, then I just select it, and the selected side is always on the left over here. So I do 1, and now you can see that I have northbound is 1 lane and southbound is 2. But I actually want it like that. So I could go like this all the way up, but that's an awful lot of clicking. So there are other strategies that I can use. Let me show you how to draw a polygon. So you go to this, I think it's geoprocessing, maybe drawing, yeah, drawing layer. And over here on the left is edit polygon. So I'm going to do new, and I want my lane diet to go all the way from here to there. And I already changed some of these, but it doesn't matter if I change it again. So I just made a polygon. Now I'm going to go back to link, and I'm going to go to compute, and that is the equation that I want, but I don't want it to do to all items. I want it to do to items inside the polygon now. So that means that both the A and the B node are both inside the polygon. And just in case I get other things in there that I didn't want to get, I'm going to do to functional type 10 equals 2, which means principal arterial, and that's the road that I'm working with. So apply, 14 links updated. Oh, whoops. So that's not what I wanted to do. I set it back equal to 2010, and you can see that where I had a gray road, now it's back to blue, and that's not what I wanted. So I'm going to do edit, and I'm going to say lane diet equals 1 for all items in the polygon. There, apply. Now it only updated 14 links, and it was the links that I meant. So that is a road diet. Hit close, and now we can save the network. Sometimes it's hard to find the save button that works well, so push that save up there. I think that saves it, but Cube 6 is a little bit weird, so I like to go to save and save all, this save all button. That saves everything, and I'm pretty sure that that works. So now we can hide the polygon. You go back to drawing layer and then edit, hide. There you go. So now we've got a scenario where we're creating a road diet. Now that's going to wreak havoc on Main Street, and probably on some of the nearby roads as well. We haven't prepared any of the nearby roads to deal with the road diet, but let's run it anyway, because there's a lot of planners out there that believe that the magic bullet to creating walkable places is to create congestion and to do these road diets. So let's see. Alright, so the next thing we need to do in our road diet scenario is come back to here, road diet, double click it, and we have to change the name of the lane field. So over here, remember we take that lane spare and we changed it into lane diet, so I'm just going to type that in, lane diet, and it should be ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and hit run, or save, and then hit run. Run probably also saves it, but I don't know for sure. So now that's running. Down here, you can see I have two options. If I come back to this one, oh, it's taken a while. These first several steps go by so fast that it consumes the whole window. It says my 2010 ran correctly, so while my road diet is running, I'm going to come back to here. I can close the road diet window now because it's launched in Voyager, so I'm okay. And I'm going to go to my 2010 scenario. Go back. You can also access the everything through this way of going to it, but you can also access it through the tree. So under highway assignment, highway summary, that's where we were at, where we had our final network. So now I'm going to go here, open up the final 2010 network, and then go here like we were before, click on that thing, then let's see if I've got the count fields in here now. I'm looking, yes, okay, so I included count 1992 and count 2011 in the results. So if I go to where was it? Home is where it is. Then we go to post all. We're going to go to post the model versus observed. It's the way I set it up last time because I had saved it, but if yours isn't like that, that's okay. You just go here and you find dy2 vol2 way, and then you find count count. Oh, it's because it's running something in the background, so it steals the hang on. Okay, so I finally got it on there, and I selected count 92 and count 2011 as things to see. So you're going to hit close. Now the way this works is the label closest to the link was the option 1 that I selected, then option 2, option 3. So we have the model 2010, we've got the model for 1992, not model, but the count of 92 and the count of 2010, 2011. And I don't like that, so I'm going to go and switch them. So I'm going to make this into 2011 and this into 92 so that I can see the closest years together. Alright, so now I've got old historic, so I can see just how much things have changed, and now I've got 36 and 40. So that's pretty close actually. So to be off by 4,000, 3,500 out of a number that big is pretty good. And so I'm just scrolling up through the top, looking at these things. It looks like generally my model is high. Oh, okay, so our road diet is done now. I'm going to say okay, but I'm back to here. So the model is generally high on Main Street anyway. That's pretty close, getting closer there. A little, quite a bit high on this section. Starting to come down and look more normal. Okay, so anyway, Main Street is a little high. Let's see how other roads look. So over here, the model's high on the road that's going up to the university. The university's right in here, and you can see this. One thing that isn't getting displayed is the centroid connector. So if I go to color, then I can take this lanes equals 7 and go to 1, close, and it shows the centroid connectors, but it doesn't show the volume going onto the centroid connectors. So I am curious about the volume. I'm going to go back to post all, see why not, and it's because I'm doing ft greater than 1 and the centroid is 1, so I'm going to do ft greater than 0, and now this shows the volume going into my centroids. So this happens to be the university, Utah State University, and it says, okay, in a day, Utah State University is attracting, what's the sum of that? Probably pretty close to 16,000 cars per day going into the university area. And, alright, so we could check around to see how well the model is doing in other places. So here's a road where it's a little bit low, so this was the model and this is the count. So that's not too bad actually, because if your model is high on one road, you'd like to see that it's low on a competing road, because then the screen line value, the amount of traffic going up and down over the whole space, is kind of the same. So let's see if that's the case here. So we have Main Street was high here, but it's low there on the road right next door. And here's 41,000 versus 34, so that's good. But over here it's almost dead on, and over here it's low. So the model said 3,800, and it's really 9,300. So that means that the sum of these roads together is really good. So so that we could say is a validated model, at least at that point. Same. Okay, so it looks pretty good. So it says, yeah, we got congestion here, alright, well, this is a long enough video now. We'll go look at our road diet next. So what you can do first is hit this close window, and before you close, it'll ask if you want to save the project. Yes, you do, because we did some work on the colors and the labels and we want it to stay there. And I would go ahead and call that the default. That way, whenever it's in this directory, those colors come in regardless of what the name is of the network is called. So we're done, and come back on the next one.